Hello and welcome to Property Mastermind podcast with Hilary Saxon and Bob Anderson. We're on episode 124. This week, we are talking property development problems because we've just encountered a few and we think if we can share them with you, then it's going to help you on your way. So let's jump on in to episode 124. Welcome to episode 124. Hey, giving away the book first off before I kick right into this epic topic that you're going to love. This week, this book goes to Josh Thompson. And Josh already has it, but I said I'd say his name on the podcast. So Josh, gosh, I'm really stumbling today. I hope by now you have started reading from page 121. Anyway, property development problems. And the reason we've got, well, first of all, before we go down that road, hi, Bob.
Hi, Hilary.
Acting like you don't see me very often.
No, you're never more than 5 metres away, I think. Well,
No, not
occasionally.
often.
When you're at the gym, you are.
Yeah, but we're actually not often that far apart. So we've just come off our 3-day workshop, which was fantastic.
How great was that?
Oh, so good. And you might be able to tell from my voice. I've got a bit of voice strain.
Yeah, same with me. Mine's a bit croaky, but we'll get there.
I think a lot of ours is the socialising we do with all the students.
Such a great bunch of people. We have the Property Mastermind people know how to have a good time.
They do, but it was just so much great networking.
Oh,
and
it was, yeah.
Many friendships made and just so fabulous. So it was such a great event and everybody stays that. So, yeah, if you haven't been to the Property Mastermind workshop, the 3-day workshop, seriously, get yourself a ticket for next year.
Book in for next November now.
Oh, my gosh, they are so good. And what I would love is for the people that went and listened to our podcast to write us a review and say they are so right because everybody had a fabulous time. So anyway, Bob.
Yes.
Let's start by, well, actually, we'll cover off what happens at the workshop, hey?
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. Not everyone knows that.
Yeah, and maybe even just clarify. So if you buy a bundle, you get the online course and you get a workshop and you can bring a partner for free. So we have so many people there that bring a partner, which is just really motivating and fun. So it's 3 days of Bob, myself and Aaron, mostly Bob, at presenting. And I kind of run around and...
You do a bit of important presenting yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Your favourite subjects. But yeah, you're the glue that holds it all together probably.
I'm the DJ.
Social convener.
I'm definitely the social convener, but it is just a great, what it does is people connect. There are joint ventures formed from there. There are new mentoring students who will definitely do a development, which is so exciting. And yeah, just everyone there pretty much bought my book. One guy, this is 3 wines in, and if you haven't got yourself a copy, you're a maniac, because jump on my website and grab one, or we'll put a link below. It'll make a great Christmas present. One guy bought 3 for each of his daughters and 1 for his wife, and they listen. Grant Spore, you're a legend. So
there you go.
Yeah.
He knows a good book when he's seen one.
Yeah, it's just a really easy read, motivating book for women to get excited. But 2 other things that happened while we're at the workshop, Bob.
Tell me.
Well,
I'm trying to remember. Lots of stuff happened.
Lots of stuff. We had one of our mentoring students won at auction.
Yep.
That was auction, wasn't it? Or no, did it get passed in and he bought it afterwards?
Yeah. Yep.
So
he bought it.
We've got another mentoring student kicking off, which is always exciting because we only work with about 20 people at a time. And so we know, we make sure they get through that they get a development, and that's the goal of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, we had another one launch pad himself into it. And then we had, just as we were leaving on the Thursday night to go down to the Goldie, we had a phone call from a past mentoring student, and he just gave me a call and said, hey, just wanted to know some stuff. And then I said, so where are we at with the development? And he goes, yeah, we're getting it up from the FISA. They're getting an extra 200 on each duplex. So instead of having that terrible $600,000 profit, they're going to make $1 million.
JV with his dad.
So cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the sort of people we work with, high achievers. And
that just lights me up, Hear students, crack a good deal, get a site,
He did the work too,
He did the yards,
did.
He looked at a few, put plenty in the rubbish bin.
And he actually not even changed patches. He changed states.
He did.
But we'll get him on the podcast soon because if he's keen to jump on.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just looking at my notes. That's everything I wanted to cover there. That's really good fun, isn't it? So now the podcast, property development mistakes.
Yeah, surprises.
Oh, surprises. What did I call it? Did I say
it's not mistakes?
It's surprises. Yeah. So what's happened is this is our development, one that we've got underway. We've got a couple.
We do.
Yeah, more than a couple, but anyway, we're always doing something. And we had demolition day yesterday, which is exciting. Bob forgot to tell us.
Yeah, I did. I was sort of like so engrossed in the workshop and the aftermath of the workshop that I did forget to tell those who matter within our organisation.
Yeah.
Mainly yourself and Georgia.
Yeah. So
that the demo was on.
Yeah, I mean,
this week.
There's nothing cooler than watching a demo.
I love watching demolitions. I mean, I've never gotten sick of it in 4 decades. What I love, I think, is the power of the machinery. You know, those big excavators. You know, they're just unbelievable power, and you know what they can do is amazing. You know, so yep, that's what I love to do. Watch a good demo.
So after that, what we found out today was there's a swimming pool that nobody knew about. So that is we've actually got 3 problems we'll bring up with this site.
Yeah.
So the first problem we've encountered is that there is a swimming pool that's been covered in. So that causes a wee problem. Bob, do you want to explain what goes on there?
Yeah. So this house was built, I'd say, about 50 years ago. It's a low-set brick. Must have had a swimming pool in there at one point, and they've covered it up. So they probably what happens with swimming pools? You know, when you buy a site, and I've bought a few sites over the years with swimming pools, and you generally don't leave the pool there. It never works. So you have to get rid of the pool, and to do it properly, you need to get a big excavator in there with a rock breaker and really break it up. And I tell you what, you know, you think of the coping of a pool, there's a lot of steel and concrete in there. It's not that hard to punch holes in the bottom of a pool. But
what do they use, Bob?
Oh, it's just a big rock breaking attachment on the end of an excavator. You know, that you know, the hammer thing you hear, you know. I can't imitate one, I'm afraid. But
darn it, that would have been fun.
But normally what you do is you break down all the coping, you break up the pool underneath, obviously, so that any water that goes in there, then, you know, you backfill it with road base, you compact it. Like, you know, it's a bit of a job. It costs typically between about $15,000, even up to $20,000 to correctly, you know, get rid of a swimming pool.
Can we just go back to that backfilling it with road base? What's that mean?
Well, when you fill the pool up, because it is a hole, you want to use really good soil that you can get a high compaction rate on, you know, because eventually you're going to build over it. So you don't want to just throw in old grubby topsoil and weeds and stuff. That won't do the job at all. It has to be done properly. I met a guy once who had an excavator and a rock breaker, and his job is almost his whole business was getting rid of swimming pools. And I said, seriously? He said, 90% of my work is getting rid of swimming pools. And he became a bit of a swimming pool specialist, you could say.
Swimming pool removalist.
Yeah, and I've had pools, and they can annoy you after a while, you know, in terms of all the maintenance and so forth.
Why do you think they would have got? Well, because they were an older couple.
Yeah,
that had
exactly.
The house.
Yeah. These are where they've had a family. You know, kids love pools. So you can't keep them, even in winter. You can't keep your kids out of a pool. Oh, in Queensland anyway. Not sure about Melbourne, unless it's heated. But, you know, when the kids grow up and leave home and the parents are left and they mightn't use the pool much, and, you know, they're constantly, you know, cleaning it and maintaining it, you know, that just gets too much.
Dad just wants to put a garden there.
So, yeah, so they just get somebody in to dispose of it. And, you know, 15,000 is not uncommon to do that with a pool. But this particular one, we didn't know. So
how would somebody know? Like, why did we not know about that?
Well, we're not ready to do the soil tests or anything yet. So, I mean, you just look. All you can do is look at it, and what do you see? Well, if you look at that property, it's just a low-set brick house built, you know, 1970 or something like that. So there's no depressions in the ground. There's nothing to suggest that there was a pool there. until the excavator started to dig and dig the footings out, and
I thought,
and
hello,
found
hello,
the pool.
hello.
Hello, what do we got here? And he does have a pretty big excavator. This guy, it's like a 30-ton
Yep.
excavator, which is seriously big. I mean, a 20-ton excavator is big. This thing's a monster. And so he had to start digging it out, and he put the big hook on the excavator, sort of trying to hook out the coping. And and we're thinking, oh, well, here we go, because this is, can be an expensive proposition. And where does it end? How hard is it to get out?
So did he quote the extraction of the pool before doing it, or did he just
No.
say, "I'll
Well,
add
you
on
don't know.
X"?
No. It's there. Obviously, it's going to be an extra. It's not part of the quote.
Yeah.
Point is, how long's a piece of string? So how do we go? So he beavered away there with his big machine, and eventually got it out. So it's not just the time that the machine's working to get the pool out. Then you've got to get rid of it all. It's dumping fees, and dumping fees are really quite expensive these days. It's not contaminated fill, or it cost them an absolute fortune, but it's still fill, and it's mostly sand. The ground, sand, but big chunks of concrete, and it took a while, and I'm starting to think, well, what's this going to cost?
And how did he go? I know the answer, but I'd just like to use
Well,
your
at
time.
that point, you just thought you'll sort it out at the end of the job. What he
Okay.
said is like, we'll work out how long it's taken us and how much the dumping fees are, and we'll let you know. And we've used this guy. In fact, you know him
I
pretty
know,
well.
yeah. He's a really great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's sort of rough around the edges.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's a lot of demolishers are really. But
He let me go in when they were doing the demolish on the
on
last one.
just prior, not while they were belting the roof
No,
down.
no, when they'd emptied and they were still pulling out the inside stuff. They'd bashed it in, but I said, "Oh, can I have a look?" He goes, "Yeah, just come on in." And I thought it's probably a little bit illegal.
Come on in your open toe shoes.
Yeah, there was all dressed up.
Yeah, so same guy, him really
he's a
well.
good guy. Yeah,
But you could trust him. I mean, I don't need to get a quote off him prior because you can't. He doesn't know how long it's going to take. So that was okay. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
They're not deal killers. Those sorts of things. Even if it shouldn't cost. It wouldn't cost that full 15 on this job because it already been smashed up to a degree previously. But like it is what it is. It's not a deal killer when you're when you're doing this is a duplex. So units are worth on this one probably about 2.3 million. So
if you can't spell sort
each.
of 15 to 20 grand on 6.4 million, or 2.3, 6.4.
Yes, 4.6.
So 4.6 has my maths.
Yeah, so it's just something that you have to do.
Interesting with this development, and I said to Bob we should probably start talking about it because it's another one we just kicked off on. We went to auction in February, and as usual, don't get emotional. And
yeah, well, there's partners there as well, and
there's a few of us doing it.
So and I don't like buying from auction. I mean, I absolutely hate auctions with a passion. And I made no secret of that, but fortunately, most of my life I've been in southeast Queensland and we can avoid them.
And now they've snuck their way in.
Well, since COVID, there's more and more auctions, really. It used to be that only the real estate agent with the yellow signs used to do auctions, but now more and more. But
no free advertising in this space.
No, but it's not like Melbourne. Of course, you live in. It's just a given that just about everything that's for sale is going to be an auction. Less to extent in Sydney and in say Brisbane, southeast Queensland, where we live, it was always not really. Hardly ever did one. Maybe 5% of stock got sold by auction, but it's a lot higher these days. And it was a site that we waited for. It was one that we, in the location that we wanted. You don't get a lot of them, and so we thought, well, we're going to have a crack at this, whether we like auctions or not.
So we all go along there because we all get excited, and we're bidding against. So it's a deceased estate, but there were 6 children.
Yeah,
and one of them actually wanted it, but the other 5 didn't.
Well, we think she did. It's a little
hard
bit
to
weird,
hear.
but as you say, 6. This thing got carved up between 6 children, so it's still a decent amount of money each.
Yeah,
but
did she want it, or she just want to bump it up?
You wouldn't retire on it
because I think there were 4 people bidding initially, and then it came
down.
There
were a couple of bidders in there, and they dropped out. Now who they were, I don't know. I didn't recognise them. A lot of the time, we know who other developers are, in our patch, as we should. But no, we didn't recognise anybody, and she was there. sort of given it a bit of a nudge.
I
we
could
thought-
see smoke coming out of her nostrils.
Yeah, she got a bit emotional.
She did actually. Poor
and
thing.
and like we got Aaron to actually do the bid, but he
Yeah.
was taking instructions from us, and we were over to one side, like acting as though we don't care. And at one time,
But you know what it's like. Everyone's acting like they don't care with our fingers secretly crossed behind our back.
yeah, well, maybe, yeah. When we did want it, we weren't going to pay too much for it.
No,
But well, what it's worth. That's what we want to pay for it. What it's worth.
don't get emotional.
Yeah, but it narrowed down to just the two of us, and we're sort of getting up close to what we calculated was our limit through our feasibility, because it's a development site. You do a feasibility, do all your due diligence, and look, it's just a number. Yeah, it's a number. We'll pay that much, and that's a number, and that's all it is. It's not like we're buying a house for ourselves to live in.
No.
That's an emotional choice. The location, the house or the unit, everything about it's emotional because it's ours. We're going to live there, we're going to invite our friends out. Like, that's a very emotional purchase. Property development side, I mean, we're going to buy it and knock the house down, for goodness sake. We just want to make money. No emotion there. It's all numbers.
But then it got to that number.
Got to the number.
And then Aaron had to turn around and look at Bob, and
Yeah.
Bob gives him the wink.
Well, it went 5 over, I think, initially.
$5,000 over, and then
and she dropped off.
Yeah, thank goodness.
We were both at the same number, and yeah, well, there's a little bit of acting going on in there as well, but as you do with auctions. But yeah, and we got it. We went we went $5,000 over our theoretical limit.
But I asked Bob only yesterday. I said, was that actually the limit? Because I never thought to ask you. I knew what you said. This is our number. This is where we're going. And then you went over it by 5,000. I thought, oh, that's interesting, because I thought you would never do that. And so I just left it, and it's been a few months now. And then when I asked you, you said, oh, no, I was actually going 20 over that. But so you were 1,500 that you didn't tell us about.
Well, the number we chose was correct.
Yep.
But I wasn't going to lose it for 20.
Yeah.
If I had to, and okay. I mean, that's nothing, 20,000 in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's $10,000 per unit. I mean, you could sneeze and lose that, or you could do something good and make up for it pretty quickly,
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that would have been it. If we'd have hit that extra 20 and they were still going, no, I would have let it go.
And we've had another wee surprise on this one.
Yeah.
So the other surprise is also a septic tank that we didn't know about. So what does that mean? So if we bump into a septic tank, what happens there, Bob?
Well, I haven't come across one in this area. It's not the first project we've done, but I've never come across one, because septic tanks are really where you don't have sewage, which is all a bit weird. I don't know what it was doing there, and I wouldn't have expected it, because that subdivision was done around 1970. That's why the houses are all, 50 years old pretty much. And they're all nearly the same. They're all low set brick and tile things, 3 beds, single bath, double bath, whatever. But there was sewage there. Like, it wasn't one of those really old areas where all the old houses were on septic and then, 50 years ago, sewage came to the area, and then everybody had to stop using their septics and hook up to the sewer.
Did it have stuff in it? Sorry to ask.
No, look, probably it hasn't been used for so long. Whatever was in there would have been pretty dried up, I imagine.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
I don't think it would have been as bad as you think it was.
No. So
I'll have to ask the demolisher when I see him. But
is it a septic tank's metal?
It's tank. No, it's concrete. It would have been a concrete tank. Yeah. And
another wee surprise.
Well, exceptionally. I mean, I still haven't gotten to the bottom of why there would be a septic tank there. It wasn't just a grease trap. It was a septic tank. And why would there be one there when from day one they had sewage? Anyway.
And then we've had
question for.
So the demolisher's just dropped that in with the rest of his quote. He'll just bump.
Yeah, so
he's making a mozza.
Had to get rid of the septic tank.
He's loving the extras.
Well, Aaron and I are thinking, like, okay, what's this going to cost us? And we're thinking tops 30. 20, 30, 25, 30. Well, prepare yourself for the worst, say 30. That's what we were sort of thinking. And we thought, well, of course you can live with it. I mean, you don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah.
We're just demolishing the place. There's no, if it costs you 30,
He's
it costs you 30.
He's kind of got us over a barrel.
Yeah. But in the big picture of things, I mean, if you're spending 1.7 million or whatever it is on the building of the duplex, what percentage is 30,000? I mean, really, it's like, I can't even work it out. It'd be a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent. So it's not going to kill you. It's just that it's 30,000 that you won't see again. You don't see anything for it as such.
Can't wear it.
No, so it's
not like shoes. You
it's
can't
gone.
drive it. It's not like a car.
No, you can't.
It's just invisible, and he just picked it up and it just went out the back.
So as it turned out, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
So he said, we'll cover that for 10 grand, both of them.
How good's that?
Yeah. And had he said 30, I would have said, well, that's probably a fair price. Someone else would charge us that.
Yeah.
And so, if he made it 20, I'd thank him.
He made it 10. But what that shows, though, is what I always talk about. It's about the relationship. And we have a good relationship with him. We've both chatted with him, and we've used him a few times.
Well, we've probably given him 8 jobs.
Yeah,
we've even given him a couple of jobs where we just referred him.
Yeah.
So he's done well and good, and thanks for that. But then the footings are also very deep.
Oh dear.
Well, we did another one not too far away with the same demolisher. The footings, I don't know. Look, I saw the footings that came out of the other one. I thought they looked like they'd been designed for a 5-story apartment block. Dead set. I don't know why they had to be that. And
they think it's the sand?
Well, sand's stable. Like it's things like clay that are highly reactive. Sand's much more stable than clay. But anyway, whatever they are, lots of concrete there, so he had to dig them out, and they were quite deep, big solid lumps of footings. And of course, they got the Rio through them as well. So it's. So
he's working hard this week for his money.
He is.
He's working hard.
He's got about like 4 labourers run around the site as well. He likes to, because he owns the business, he likes to drive the excavator as you would. So would I. And guys running around with crowbars and saws that cut steel, Rio steel, and all that sort of thing.
And we have another surprise that we've found in this one as well. There's a wee bit of asbestos.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Not a surprise as such. Houses that were built 50 years ago, there's always going to be some. In the bathroom walls, there's going to be asbestos sheeting. I mean, it's just, that. So typically what you see, or what the demolisher sees, is what they quote on. I had a tile roof, didn't have the hardy Super 6 roof, thank goodness. The old, the big corrugated asbestos roof, so they can be fun. The outside was brick, it's brick veneer, but the inside, there were some asbestos sheets, and there's probably a bit of asbestos lagging on some of the, the hot water pipes and that sort of thing. That what they used to do is lag it or wrap asbestos around the pipes to keep the hot water hot, as it travels. There would have been a bit of that, but they would have expected that. But you never know what you're going to find when you dig up with asbestos either, and I've been surprised a few times there.
You were talking about driveways earlier today.
Driveways or sheds, yeah. What they used to do a lot in the old days is they'd bury all their asbestos offcuts. Now, this is back in a time when nobody even cared about asbestos, really. This is before, all the asbestosis claims, where everybody attacking James Hardy and all that. This is before then. This is when everyone was using it. But they used to, rather than dump the stuff off site, they just bury it, and they nearly always buried it under like a driveway, or if there was a shed where they're pouring concrete a slab,
floor,
anything under a concrete slab, driveways.
Nice wee spot to just poke your asbestos down. Yeah, that and your dead bodies.
You never really knew.
That's what the Italian mafia do.
Yeah.
Connie Palella's lot, all that lot.
Oh, I don't think Connie's buried too many people in a time, but
we haven't dug up your driveway yet.
Good point. Yes, but underneath the driveway can be a bit of a surprise. It's generally not a lot, although I have found, on a couple of jobs, the there was quite a lot of asbestos, that was underneath.
What happens at
Cost
that
about
point?
another
Yeah.
$5,000 for the last time I found had a surprise underneath the
Surprise?
driveway,
Yep.
because it costs quite a lot of money. It has to be handled in a particular way. The demolition person has to have a license for dealing with asbestos, and has to be, it has to be watered, has to be wrapped up, has to be dumped in a certain place, and they pay an absolute fortune to dump asbestos. So yeah, it's pretty expensive stuff to get rid of. But this one, so far, I'd have to check with Aaron, because he hung around to see if there was any extra asbestos above and beyond.
Asbestos and dead bodies under the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about the dead bodies.
They
You
decompose.
just dig another hole and
Remove them.
but asbestos you have to get rid of.
Mm.
Yeah. So, well, look, yeah. So that's, a pretty good outcome. Certainly some surprises.
Yeah. But I suppose what I'm alluding to, and this is why we talked about this today, is that there's always going to be surprises, and you just got to know how to deal with them. And we were incredibly lucky with the
Yeah.
relationship that we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
with our guy,
Hmm.
that he was so accommodating.
Well, he probably saved us 15 to 20,000 on what he could have charged realistically. So dollar saved is a dollar earned, or something like that. My dad used to tell me. So there you go.
In summary, we had a 5,000 over, but really it was 15,000 under on the bid.
Yeah.
We had initially the surprise swimming pool.
Yep.
We had the surprise septic tank,
Mm.
and we had a little bit more
bigger than average footings.
Oh yeah, there's 4 bigger than average footings.
Yeah.
And lastly, the asbestos. You knew there was some, but it was possibly a little bit more than you thought.
Yeah, and the neighbours were good, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, so
when you're belting down the house next door.
Oh yeah.
And the good thing is we chose the correct house to demolish.
Yes.
That has happened in the past, not with us,
Yes.
where a demolisher has demolished the wrong house.
Yeah. Always be on site.
Always good. Yeah, there's so much goes into it now to prevent them from demolishing the wrong house.
Yeah.
But it has happened. Probably about 10 years ago, the last time I heard it happen. Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't think anyone was home. They were away for the weekend, so nobody knew.
Until you get home.
All their furniture, everything.
You get home and it's all just broken. You think they'd walk through. I always thought that on that last demo that we did, that I went to.
They probably did walk through and picked up a television and God knows what
Yeah,
else.
there's so much stuff still in the house. I always, I hate waste. I'm always thinking somebody might want that. Somebody might want that. But Bob's just like, knock it down and
one
get
we
rid.
did recently, you sold the shed out of the backyard.
Oh, yeah, I did
for
sell
us,
that one. Yeah.
That was good. It had a colorbond shed, not a real big one. Can't remember. Oh, no, it's decent size, probably about 6 by 4 metres on a concrete slab. But in fact, you advertised that shed for sale. Must have been a little bit too cheap because you got knocked down in the rush.
Gosh, I just put it
Everybody
on Marketplace.
wanted it. Yeah.
And I said they'd have to come and take it down, and then they would have had to put it back up. But so many people wanted it, and we just met people there, and they took it away.
Well, better to have some money in your pocket like we did than have to pay to demolish it.
Well, it was pretty reasonable. It wasn't
a good
too
shed.
old yet. It was reasonably
good
new, so it was worth doing.
shed. If you wanted to go to the effort of taking it down, marking all the panels, which is very important when you put it back together again.
Yeah,
it would have been a good shed.
Yes, well, that was just down the road, a different property.
Different property, same demolisher.
Same demolisher. So there you have it, everybody. There's always going to be potentially something, but not every disaster is the end of the world. So we don't have to always look at things like they're doom and gloom, do they?
No, and look, we've got a while to go yet. We're starting builders on site next week, and we'll go through the building process. So there's probably be a few things pop up there, as there always is. Nothing that can't be dealt with.
On another note, mine's coming to an end next week.
Yes.
We were invited to the official opening, but I can't go because we've got something on. And it is on the other side of the country.
Can I go instead?
Oh, I so want to go. I'm so devastated. But there's no way I can go.
The official opening.
The official opening. And I tell you, I might share this story. So it's for NDIS project, and just before the
apartments, 2-bedroom apartments,
yeah, and they're tilt slabs,
solid, going to be there for 200 years.
Yeah, they'll be lucky to pull that thing down. And before the power's on, we've been told it is of the highest quality they've ever seen. So
yeah, the NDIS inspectors who went through it before classifying it said it's the best they've ever seen ever.
There you go. Only the best for me.
Only the best for you.
Well, I'm not going to
Well, you
live
got a
there.
great joint venture partner.
I have the best, yes. And he wasn't there and the power wasn't on, and one of the tenants went around there. So he's in a wheelchair. So it's a high care facility, meaning people in wheelchairs. What else? It's very high care. So it's all wheelchair living, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Severe sometimes, yeah.
And so the elevator wasn't on because the power wasn't connected. So it's 2 levels. And so this guy, young guy, I think he'd been in a motor vehicle accident, and he got out of his car, wheeled to
So he's a tenant. He's going to be a tenant.
Yeah, he's going
shortly.
to be, yeah. And so he got to the bottom of the stairs, and he got out of his wheelchair on his, on his bottom, and just pushed himself up the, you can measure on your bottom and pushing yourself up with your arms. And he got to the top of the stairs, and when my builder joint venture partner John got there, he was crying in the apartment because he just couldn't believe how amazing it was and how he's finally going to have his own home. So, oh my gosh, it's such a good thing. You've actually teared up a bit.
Well, I do. It's such an incredible story.
Oh, it is.
I mean,
Don't do that
God
now,
knows what he's been through, this young man, because he wasn't born with the disability. I believe it was from a car accident as a teenager.
Yeah.
What he's been through, and God knows without any real disability accommodation, God knows what he's been through, but now he's got his own unit.
And they're beautiful.
It's incredible, the unit.
Yeah.
I could live there easily.
Yeah, there's outdoor living, and they're really nice. So, I mean, what a great story to hear.
Oh, it's a great story.
So that's next. So that, what are we on today? The date's the 8th. I think that's the 14th is the official titles are out, official opening, all good to go. So yeah, pretty excited about that. So yeah, we got a lot going on. If people wonder about, should we do property development? I think, well, we do it, and I'm certainly ready to go again. Like, it's exciting stuff, isn't it?
Well, we're constantly on the run, on the go.
On the go.
On the go. And our people are all on the go.
Yes, we have mentoring students doing fabulous stuff. So if you're seriously interested and, want the right support, would definitely
I just got off
recommend.
the phone before, you didn't know this, just before we did this podcast, from somebody whom you know, who was only in the mentoring program 3 weeks before they found a deal.
Yes.
I think he's found another one.
Oh my gosh.
Well done, I just went through the numbers with him, and I think it's okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. There you go. Oh my gosh. So he's only even been in here for not even 3 months.
No, not even that.
That's epic. And would have probably found a joint venture partner at the workshop. Almost, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, well, we're kind of celebrating because there's a lot of exciting stuff. And we jump through hoops, and we do what we need to do property development. But when you get some great stories, and we've just told you about a few of our little issues going on at the moment, but none of them were too difficult. They were surprises, and just be aware that there's always going to be a surprise.
Yeah, there's always going to be.
Yeah. Anyway, hope you got something out of that. We will catch you next week. See ya.
Bye.